What up? What up, y'all? Lay Ill Kid at One Youngster, holding it down, being that street geek and nerd soul. Today, figured I'd throw down some of my thoughts on the whole, unite the right, Charlottesville protest issue that was going on yesterday, the violence that happened yesterday. Many of you guys know that. No, I am from VA. No, I love VA. From Richmond, Charlottesville is about like an hour drive. But I want to start out by saying I'm glad to see Virginia step up and stand up against just the element, the negativity, the hate, the white supremacy that kind of came into the state because they decided to do something in their own state. And what I mean by that is they had voted to take down a statue on their own constituents voted, they decided to do what they wanted to do in their own state. You should be able to have a certain level of states' rights. Some people in other states decided that that wasn't, I guess, good enough for them, so they decided to come to Virginia, even after being told, no, this isn't your place, we don't want you here. They came anyway, and they came to, be negative, be argumentative, to be violent, to be imposing, to be threatening. And it's just a bad recipe for just our discourse politically in general. And I'm glad that, the governor, the mayor, everybody stood up against that and the people of Charlottesville stood up against that. They were not having this, it's like, go home. We don't want you here. This is our state. We have voted to take this down. It is a relic of an old, negative, horrible time, and we're not going to represent it anymore. And I think that that's something that's very important, to be able to remove these symbols of terrorism, remove these symbols of hatred, remove these symbols of like just negativity and subjugation, because it means a lot to the people that were subjugated, that were hated, that were beaten, dragged, and so many other barbaric things. So for them to come is just... It's just a recipe for violence in the first place, because they already came to kind of threaten people to kind of, I guess, see the world their way. And I don't have an issue, being at odds with people, having a discourse, or not having the same opinions, or, kind of like just not seeing things the same way. But when you show up to an event with shields, with riot gear, with guns, looking like you want to fight, you can't play the moral high ground card. You just can't. And to Trump and the statement that he made, which was very... It's not that the statement was bad, it just didn't really say anything. And what I mean by that is the statement that Trump made was similar to buying someone a dollar store happy birthday card. You said happy birthday, but it's like, did you really care? You bought a card that was was plain on the front, said happy birthday on the front, and just had nothing on the inside. And that's how I feel Trump handled it. And I'll get into how I feel about what we should do with Trump. And when I say what we should do, I mean black people most specifically, and then people that are just not down with him in general. We need to stop looking for him to be someone that he hasn't shown us to be. His whole campaign, and even David Duke was like, look, y'all, Trump promised us this. You know what I'm saying? So this is what we want. And we need to realize that the people that voted for Trump, they want what they paid for. You know what I'm saying? They paid for xenophobia. They paid for hatred. They paid for white supremacy. They paid for these things. They paid to, quote, get their country back. Whatever that means. But they paid for this, and they want what they paid for. So to a certain degree, you got to see it from their perspective. They're like, yo, Trump told us this is okay. He showed us this is okay. Through his tweets, through his activity during the campaign, through his statements, his campaign appearances, he showed us that this is okay. This is what he's down with. So why should you be mad at us for only wanting what he told us he was going to give us? And it's a sad state of affairs when you have a situation where you have an opportunity to say, okay, guys, you know what? On the campaign, I know I said this and that, but you guys are going too far. Stop it. It's wrong. This is horrible. And we kind of got like a vague, like everybody's wrong, go home kind of thing. And here's the problem with that. When you equate both sides with the issue with violence, the problem is that you put them on the same standing of fault. And here's what I mean by that. When you have two children, and child number one has been bullying, kicking, screaming, taking the other toys from, child number two, just basically just getting on child number two's nerves, always, pranking him, tricking him, anything you can do to make child number two angry. For child number two to finally respond in anger, for child number two to finally respond the same way, with the same energy that child number one has given, it's unfair to approach both of those children as far or as if they both did the same thing. Because the instigation or the ignition point was on child number one. So what I mean by that is to cover the statement that he made by negativity or violence on all sides. And yes, there was violence, but the ignition point of that violence, the reason for that violence, the whole reason yesterday it happened was because the white supremacists or the white nationalists or the alt-right, whatever you want to call racism at this time, came to Charlottesville to impose their will or their thoughts or their ideas on the city of Charlottesville, which they don't even live in. I could see if they were all citizens of Charlottesville and they voted against this and the government was doing it anyway, then they might have had a leg to stand on. But you had people coming in from other states that weren't even from the state. Like, not saying Charlottesville, they could have been like from like Virginia Beach or like Manassas or something. They weren't even from the state. So it's like, you came and started this. You brought this problem. You brought this element. So when you bring this element, for someone to say, whoa, you can't do this, get that stuff out of here. You can't put them on the same footing unless you want to soften the blow or soften the negative position from the person who ignited the whole negative, I guess, atmosphere in the first place. Which takes me to my next point. I think Trump is in a bad place because he knows the platform he ran on. David Duke said it himself. He knows the outlook on, America that he has put forth. And, he on one hand, he has to say, all right, I'm not down with these guys, but he can't dog them out because they voted for him. And that's why we get this very soft, blasé, kind of like blanket, but not directed at anybody's statement. And two black people out there, two people that are not feeling the Trump presidency. I hate to say this, but what do you expect? You can't expect anything more or less from the president that has shown you and shown us how he acts. So don't expect that. So just let's get out of the way. Just, you got what you got. I doubt Trump will say anything else. If he does, it'll probably be more along the line of kind of like the basic, like, I'm sorry, everyone, or everyone's bad and everybody go home. So just understand that that's mostly all you're going to get. Two people that are on Twitter using the "This is not us" hashtag. That's problematic. And here's why. There's a lot of well-meaning white liberals in their perspective that are like, hey, well, I'm not racist. Well, I don't do this. Hashtag "This is not us." And the problem with saying that is that you almost try to use your indifference or your, I guess you could say, your inaction as an absolution. Like, well, I'm not racist, or this is not us. When you say this is not us, are you talking about America? Or are you talking about just you and maybe your 5 or 10 closest friends? Because if it's you and your 5, 10 closest friends, you may be correct. Like, this is not y'all. But is this America? Yeah, it is. And for you to pretend like it's not, you're doing more harm than help. So just please stop. Now, to the whole point of this is not us, one of the biggest issues that America has regarding race is the fact that America won't even admit that it's racist, which is a problem, because I liken it to a alcoholic. If there's an alcoholic that he's always driving drunk, he's getting in fights, he's beating on his wife, he's ruining his job, getting fired, he's at odds with his family and friends, but you can't even get him to admit that maybe he drinks a little too much. And that's where, he's going to end up killing himself or killing someone else in a car wreck or something like that, because you can't even get him to admit that, well, maybe I drink a little too much. And America won't even admit that racism exists. And that's an issue in itself. When you have a country that you could say, yo, you know what? We're not the greatest country. I know we always say the greatest country. And to a certain degree, yes, but we have a lot of stuff that we need to fix that we're unwilling to fix because we don't want to ever say we're wrong. And if we never say that we're wrong, we're going to be in a lot of trouble concerning just our future as a society, our future as a nation, a future concerning our race relations between white and black, black and brown, white and brown, Mexicans, whatever. We're going to always have this problem, and it's only going to get worse. And it's disheartening, because I don't want to see this stuff go on. I've seen so many black people killed. I've seen so many brown people killed, and with indifference on the news and commentary, and it's getting to the point where we see it so much, I'm scared that society will become kind of dead to it, meaning that seeing someone killed on TV will just be like, it'll just be Tuesday. And we're getting in a very bad spot when we get there, because to see black people killed on television, to see brown people killed on television, to see white supremacist values and statements on television and not bat an eye, we're in a bad situation as a society, because we all affect each other. And when you can't even admit that, hey, this country was built on subjugation, this country was built on classism, and that's horrible, but we can fix it. If you can't say that, then we'll never grow. And I think that's a problem that we have to continue to fight for, which brings me to what I think we're going to have to do as far as black people are concerned, and black people, brown people, everything, but most especially black, because I'm black. Black people we're going to have to, at least from now on, continue to stick together as much as possible, because they are not for us, bruh. They are not, and they coming. You know what I'm saying? Because I only see this getting worse. And the reason being is because we can't even get the nation to be like, yo, we racist. We can't even get the government to be like, yeah, we have systematically worked against a certain subset of people in our own country. We can't even get them to say that. So we need to work together, whether you're buying from each other, helping each other, selling to each other, building each other up, supporting each other's projects, whatever, because we going to need each other. And then next year, 2018, we are going to have to vote. Anyone who has been silent on this issue, anyone who has been very, very bland on this issue, like, oh, well, everybody's just wrong. Those people, we are going to have to seriously stand up and vote to hopefully get them out of office, because it is not looking good for us. When it gets this bad, we have to we gonna have to stick together. Because we all we got. I think that's where I'm gonna leave it on. We all we got, because I think we're working not only against a system, but I think we're working against, like they say, powers and principalities that we can't understand or we can't see. And there's evil out there. There's hate in people's hearts, and it's being championed. It's being televised, and it's being almost celebrated. And when that happens, I think that we're in a lot of trouble. So from me to you, guys, stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Be good to yourself. Be good to each other. And black people, we all we got, man. We all we got. So, Virginia, thank you. I love you, VA. I miss you, VA. I'm so glad that you stood up against this. But we gonna need some more. A lot more. So, of course, I'm out of here. I love you guys. Holler at me. I'm gonna holler at you down in them comments. As long as y'all not crazy, it won't get deleted. So, peace.